What's up, guys? We're bringing easy and fun cartoon techniques for drawing comics and manga by Christian Alawas, and this episode of What's in the Box is brought to you by Daphne Leitch.
Eager Raven returns to Kickstarter in its first trade paperback, collecting issues 1 through 4 in one full color volume. Eager Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be. Dragons overtake her kingdom, and how she trains to become a knight with the help of an unusual trio of blacksmiths. It's a mature audience telling of the classic hero's journey with a soap opera twist, so check out Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 1 today.
Hey there, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Yeah, you right there, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman, look at me. Is there a package just waiting for me? Where's my box? Where's my box? What's in the box?
All right, welcome to another episode, a long-awaited episode of What's in the Box. The last episode was Tech the Gods, book number 3. If you haven't seen that already, check it out. Tech the Gods, that team's on fire. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of my coffee. But this is a special treat. This is an art book. This is the first of its kind on Craze on What's in the Box. And this is by none other than Christian Alawas, who is the author of It's a Living. He's also an art instructor. He's also a freelance artist. He is a jack of all trades. He's an entrepreneur. And he has honored me with a advanced copy. You see, it says not for resale, of his art book, which is available for sale. The link is in the summary. So you can pick it up. So we're going to go through this for the first time together. I quickly skimmed through it, but I really didn't dive into it because I was waiting to do it here on the show. So when you first open it up, first of all, I like the title. Easy and fun cartooning techniques for drawing comics and manga. Boom.
Jorge Medina.
Oh, sorry about that. And Jorge Medina, I am recording. So you open up the first page, a beautifully rendered illustration of a bear fighting, looks like an alligator. There is a raven or hawk. There's a girl with mystical powers. Beautifully rendered. So you know what you can expect when you start turning the pages. So if you go into it says easy and fun techniques for drawing comics, copyright 2022, Christian Alawas, all rights reserved. Go to masterpieceartschool.com. That's Masterpiece Art School. You see it right here. It says Masterpiece. You go to the artschool.com. While you're watching this, if you see that little alien on the screen, he is in a cave hanging. That is duty. There's an alien in my toilet. Book number 3 is getting ready to launch on Kickstarter September 20th. If you haven't picked up 1 and 2, you need to pick up 3. I hope that you come along for the ride. If you haven't signed up, please sign up. We're at 75 who signed up already. We're trying to get to 100. So, all right, so you have the introduction. You have supplies needed, right? I want to draw, but I don't know what kind of supplies I'm going to need. Well, he answers that for you. Drawing heads, cartoon head exercises, drawing people, hard stuff made easy, caricatures, designing animals, expressions and gestures, drawing techniques, perspective, comics, manga, storytelling, continuing comics and manga, and bonus material and gallery. 85 pages worth. So you have the introduction. You have this beautifully illustrated piece right here in blacks and whites. Looks like markers. And inks. All right, I'm not going to go into reading this whole thing in his introduction. But what I like about this is that you have the befores and afters, right? So you have this pencil rendering right here. And then you have this really nice ink, great use of lighting. And then you have this nice coloring section right here. Right? Beautiful. Supplies needed. They say it's not the supplies you have, but what you do with them. Exactly, right? Doesn't matter if you have Jordans on, right? You got your wristbands on. You got your gear on. It's what you do with it on. That's important. It's true that some materials can make your life easier. Yes. Clip Studio Paint makes my life easier. For many years, I used to draw in Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator with a mouse on a pad. It was all I could afford at the time, although it wasn't as easy as using a high-end tablet, right? I started the same way. Now I have a high-end tablet, but I love to draw as well traditional. So when you're learning, the tools don't matter much. The fact that you're learning matters the most. I love that. That's a nice quote. That's a great quote. So I'm not going to go into all the specifics because I want you to pick up this book. So it's materials and supplies, right? Digital, pressure sensitive digital pencil, right? Digital tablet that's fast and is best for handling graphics. Choose a good quality, free or paid app for drawing. So there's a lot of resources on the net if you haven't gone out and looked for it. You don't have to go get a Wacom $3,000, $4,000 tablet. You can get a $300 or $200, $150 tablet and start there. They got $99.99 tablets that are about maybe 9 by 13 or whatever the dimensions are, that you can start there and then build your resilience and fluidity and your hand-to-eye coordination, because it takes some getting used to. Traditional, you got a marker, pen, pencil, all depends on what you prefer. There are specific markers that I like to work with. There's specific types of pencils. I love mechanical pencils. I like to change the leads. I like to work with blue leads. But it's all about preference. Drawing heads. Right, so he's going to go into the details about drawing heads. There's a reason every art class you've ever taken starts out with drawing the heads and face, right? Because they always say it starts with the egg. It's the egg shape, right? And then they give you the lines and the whole bit. So let's see where we go with this. So here it is. There's the egg shape, right? So here we go. You got the front, you got a profile, you got 3/4 view and a back view. Fantastic, right? So you got all these views. Gives you the dimensions, the separation between the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. All those things that you learn in art school. But if you can't afford to go to art school, this is the second best thing. This book is fantastic, right? So you got the front view structure, right? And it breaks it down. We learn in art school that every eye is separated by the same dimension of an eye, right? So here you have it. You have eye. All eyes have it, so it is. Let's all vote. And that's basically what you do. And then what they do is you have a triangle, right? So like when you're drawing the distance between the eyes and the mouth, it's usually the interior of the eye connects down to the nose. I mean, he's giving you all these things, the layout, the dimension, and he gives you specific descriptions. This is a great book for aspiring creators, youngins, the kids that want to learn to draw. This is easy and fun. Big, bold letters, nice use of fonts, nice use of colors. Right? So here we go again. The back of the head. How many times you have a hard time drawing the back of the head, drawing the angles of the head, the sideways view, and trying to make your character look the same as it would from a profile shot, right? So here, Christian explains those things to you. Lips, how to make those pouty lips, right? You want to make your lips pout, right? This is fantastic. One of the things I've always struggled with was drawing girls, right? I started out drawing boys. And so when it came down to drawing girls, I was struggling. It was hard. And so I had to buy all these books. And here's a great book, right? So facial features. He breaks them down. The eyes, put a lot of detail in the eyes, right? And he walks you down to from a simple structure and then little by little fill it up. So what I suggest, what happens is people don't know where to start. So here it is. It says 1, start with that. Draw yourself an olive pit. That is the shape of an olive pit, right? And just draw that olive pit and then go and then add that little circle there, right? And then add another line and then add another line and add another. And he's breaking it down step by step. Hair. The less lines you put, the lighter the hair color. Right? So more lines, more texture, more thickness, more bulk, right? And here it is. You got locks, you got short, you got curly, you got braids, all these things. What I find fascinating about this, I've never seen this level of instruction in other books unless you buy a book specific for that thing. He's breaking down each part. You got to get a book on how to draw hair. You got to get a book on how to draw hands and feet. So here he's giving you everything. Definitely going to be worth your money, right? And noses and mouth. Noses and mouth are critical when you're drawing different ethnicities. Understanding what those shapes look like, dimensions, how it ties into the face. And here we go. You got chipmunk, manga, femme, button, sculpted, old man, villain, all these things. Look at the shape of the mouth and the teeth. The mouth with the cigar. Look at the eyes. I mean, look at those come hither eyes, right? Very sexy. The shock in the eyes, the awe, Look at the dimensions and the different camera angles with regards to the head. All these things pay attention to for you aspiring artists out there that are looking for something that you can have fun with and refer to on a constant basis, right? Breaks down gender, right? Cartoon head exercises, right? He gives you an exercise to do. That is fantastic. Fun exercise. Drawing people. Now he breaks it down into drawing people. Here we go. Look, again, provides a ruler, gives you dimension, gives you angles, how to use them. Using keyframes or skeletons, right? So he's providing a skeleton of how the armature would move. Look at this, look at right here, right? So notice the hinges, they function as joints. Limbs rotate on these joints, right? Fantastic. Look at all these different curves. All these things you want to know, right? That you don't realize you need to know, but you want to know, right? Look at this. I mean, how many times in anatomy, when you, before you take anatomy, you start drawing and your muscles are out of place and you got muscles on muscles on muscles that don't really exist on the human, right? So here it is. It breaks it down to the tissue level on what that looks like. He took the skin off, right? And he says, I'm going to show you today, right? Again, fantastic. Muscles, shapes, anatomy, and muscles. How the arm flexes when you bend. All these things are important. Hamstrings, right? Forearms. Here we go. Body types. You got the jolly old man. You got the muscular. You got the female. All these things are going to help people to easily recognize the character you're trying to convey in your illustration, right? You know, whether it's an older gentleman, whether it's a kid, whether it's a female, whether it's a grandmother, whether it's a heroine, you know, all these things, the more you understand anatomy and gender and body types, the easier it'll become for you to be able to communicate visually with your audience. Manga, right? Everyone, manga is the hottest selling comic books and property category right now in publishing, right? So if you, like most, I'd say what, 7 out of 10 kids want to draw manga if they want to draw at all, right? And so here we go. He's giving you faces, shapes, big round eyes, you know, the body types, the hair types, right? And all of this stuff is going to help you. Drawing superheroes, right? Who doesn't want to draw superheroes? When I was a kid, I had underoos. You probably don't know what underoos are. Underoos is fun to wear. It's new and improved with your underwear. So here it is. You're going to have 10 heads tall or more. So you take 10 heads, identical dimensions, and stack them up, and that's what you're going to have, right? 1 through 10. You know, bigger shoulders for hero. Longer legs like a model for the heroine, right? Good to know. Fun exercises, and again, he provides you with an exercise. Draw them. Hard stuff made easy. I want to know about the hard stuff that's made easy. Hard stuff's usually backgrounds, but hands and feet. People struggle with hands and feet all the time. You're gonna see a lot of comic creators back in the 90s used to hide their hands and their feet, right, and hide the hands with weapons, you know, or hide the feet with like in a bush or in the grass or behind a rock or whatever it was, because they struggle with those things. Struggle no more. Here it is. He breaks it down. Picture a mitt, blocks and cylinders. Pinky is smaller, middle is longer. All these things. Look at the shapes. Look at the fundamentals. All these things. And who didn't struggle with hands and feet? You know, miscellaneous anatomy. All these things are very critical to your education and growth as an illustrator, right? Drawing caricatures. I've never been one who's been interested in caricatures, but a lot of people are. And I've always had people commission me, hey, can you draw me? I'm like, oh, that's not the kind of artist I am. But if I knew how to do it as a caricature, maybe I could have made some more money. So as diverse you can with your portfolio, diversify yourself, do as many, you know, have as many skill sets, artistic skill sets as possible, so that you can make more revenue if that's where you're going. You know, designing animals. Right, look at this. Right, so you got lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, you got a horse, you got a chimpanzee, you got a dragon. You know, and look at how beautifully rendered these horses are. Look at the shapes. Look at how they dance. I mean, this horse, man, look at them. They're flirting right here. They're flirting. Isn't it romantic? That's just a beautiful shot. I love the shapes and again, start with shapes. You notice how he starts with shapes, round, cylinders, all these shapes, and he adds them, and then he fleshing. It's called fleshing out. It's building. It's like building blocks. You're adding layers and layers and layers, like a sculptor, like a clay sculptor. Um, Anthropomorphic characters. Who doesn't like furries, right? There's a lot of that going on right now. So the sponsor of this show is drawing furries. So here it is. You want to do animals as characters. You can learn that with this as well. Expressions and gestures. That's critical. How many times you draw an action pose, but the face is stale, the face is numb. He's supposed to be like but the face is like he's holding a big axe, like right. So here it is. You'll get to learn how to do gestures and facial expressions and all these things, right? Look at that angry face. Boom. Right? Look at him. He's smiling. He's over there. You want to be able to convey the emotion through art, through that visual storytelling, through a static image, right? Give it life. Gestural exercises. And he walks you through. So here's some exercises you can do. Sketching, drawing, and inking. Fantastic. Look at it. How he starts here with a sketch. Starts fleshing it out and then finishing it up and cleaning it up, and then you have the colored version right here. Boom. Right? So shading technique. So here's where the light source is. You can see that it's darker here, it's lighter here, and it fades out. Right? This is great skill tools to understand, techniques to understand where you're trying to drive emotion through lighting. Right? Styles and lines, cross hatching. A lot of people do cross hatch. I used to be a big cross hatching fan because I was a big fan of that style when I was younger. I stopped doing it, and once I started coloring my own stuff, I just ink with clean lines and I use the colors to convey everything else. But notice the use of lighting here. Boom, you have this detective, walking in a dark street, and the only light that he has is that street lamp. Right? There's emotion there captured right there. You can tell, you can feel, you can hear the music, right? Perspective, man. Perspective is always a big one, right? Everyone struggles with perspective. Thank you, Sal Amandella at the School of Visual Arts, who took the time to sit me down and take the illustration that I did and identify where my vanishing points were, my horizon lines were, to understand how and where the figure fits in the scene that I was trying to convey or illustrate. So, you got 1 point perspective, you got 1 point examples, right? You got 2 and 3 point perspectives, right? So you have all these different ways that you can see, almost giving it a 3D appearance. Again, lots to read. I'm not going to read it for you, but I'm showing you what you're going to get, and you're going to get a lot for your money's worth. Further perspective, the vehicles, how they move on the street. Where your worm's eye view. If you're an adolescent and you're watching cars go by, it's going to look different than if you're an adult looking at that same angle of those cars going by. These are things you need to understand. Right? Characters in perspective. Huge, right? So it's one of those things where I use objects and shapes to be able to lay out, place. It's product placement, a character placement. Place them on the screen so I can see where everything's going to flow. How far is the character from the camera, and what is behind the character, and then where's the camera should be positioned. All these things. These are great tips that you'll be able to learn here. Comics, manga, and storytelling. Right? So 1-panel cartoon. Take our characters and create a 1-panel cartoon that depicts the character and others in a scenario that is cute, funny, and easy to understand. So, and here it is, right? In 1 panel, how can you tell a story in 1 panel that gets people thinking and talking about that image that you have just created? 3-panel storytelling, right? So you can tell us, take that story, now flesh it out. Give it substance, right? So you have this guy tackling this pregnant woman with her baby, walking a stroller. The superhero comes and zaps him, and then he goes, "Never fear, Dr. Love is here." So it says Doctor, he has a heart, so it's Dr. Love. So and boom, the story's ended. So you can tell that story in 3 panels to challenge yourself to be able to get the message out to the reader that's clear without the use of words. Right? Scripting. He walks you through scripting. Fantastic, right? How much information should be in there. He gives you an example, right? Title, book one, issue one, your name, blah, blah, blah. Panel one, this is where the action as described, compositional notes can be given, location caption, right? And then the character speaks. Character one, hey, how are you? Character two, great. How about you? Right? Boom. Great example of how to write your stories in the comic book format. Panels and pacing. I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals in here, a lot of information. What I would suggest you do if you're an aspiring creator, go section by section. Don't just rush through it. Go section by section and then apply what you learn in each section and then go back and see if you nailed it or get feedback from people. Web manga, right? Cover art, right? How to design cover art and why cover art is important into selling your product and getting people to pick it. Lettering and titles, word balloons and logos, right? All these things are pretty fantastic. Manga and comic action, special effects. He walks you through all of these things. What's this? This is there it is. Boom. Continue with manga and comics. And then here we go. Look, it's got panels, empty panels for you to play with, to have fun with. Your title, fill in the blanks. What happens next? Right? He's challenging you. Here it goes. I give you flowers. Boom. What happens next? I don't want your flowers. And then to be continued. So here's great where you can it's interactive, where you can be part of this learning process as well and use this book and have fun with it. It's okay to exaggerate. I exaggerate a lot in my cartoons. Shading, sequential and grayscale. Tech and mech. Tech and mech, man. I just backed Jake Parker's Kickstarter because it was a book on tech and mech designs. And that's one area where I struggle with even at this stage in my career. And so I wanted that book. It was a big book. It was part comic, part, art book, and I wanted it. I won't get it till to January, but because I understand that that's an area that I struggle with, and I want to get more. I want to improve that skill. Color basics, right? Gives you, keep it warm, cool, or jump, right? Between the two, right? Everyone knows the warm colors, orange, red, yellows, the cool colors, blues and greens, right? All these things and how to apply them will help you become a better artist tomorrow than you were today. And then he gives you some examples of some good panels, some illustrations. And then we end it with his book called It's a Living, The Ultimate Guide to Success for Artists and Creative Professionals, Surviving as a Freelancer in the 21st Century. I did What's in the Box on that. In fact, I'll put the link in the summary as well. If you want to see that, it was pretty fantastic. This book here, the back of it has this, Ultimate Cheat Sheets and Tips for Cartooning Enthusiasts, Students, and Pros, right? And this is great. Go to masterpieceartschool.com. I'll have the link on when you can get this book. It's fantastic. I recommend it. I think he did a fantastic job with this. This is an all-encompassing. Now, you're not going to be able to solve all problems, but this book here is worth every penny. It's worth your investment, your time, and mom's, dad's great gift for your kids who aspire to be artists. So again, this is an episode of What's in the Box. If you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button, and don't forget to sign up for There's an Alien in My Toilet on Kickstarter right now. The landing page is live. We're at 75. We're trying to get to 100. Will you be the one that breaks us and gets us to 100? I'll talk to you later. I'm Sander Creed Manvera. You guys have a great day.
What's in the box?